Good afternoon. My name is Yobie Benjamin. I am an immigrant, and I'm an American. And before I start, I want to thank a few people. First of all, I want to thank my grandmother who raised me, who despite extreme poverty, raised me to be the person that I am today. And I want to also recognize and thank my wife and my children who continue to inspire me today. My wife, Roxanne, is here, and my son, Greg. Thank you very much for inspiring me every day. I began my career in technology in a small company called Lotus Development Corporation. I worked on a product called the spreadsheet, which many of you hate. After working at Lotus, I joined Ernst & Young as a partner and chief of global strategy. At Ernst & Young, I worked in various industries: healthcare, life sciences, manufacturing, automotive, aerospace, finance. It was the whole plethora, retail and consumer products. It was just a whole number of industries. And after Ernst & Young, I joined a little bank called Citibank. I was Global Chief Technology Officer of Citibank's Global Transaction Services, and I was also chairman of Citibank's Innovation Laboratories. At Citibank, just to give you a sense of the size and scope, we did $3 to $9 trillion of transactions a day, which is 1.25 quadrillion a year. We operated in over 100 stock markets worldwide, and so I know a little bit about what I'm talking about today. Not too much. One of the things I learned at Citibank was how trading systems work. And trading systems are very interesting because they're designed to maximize profit, as much profit as humanly possible and the fastest way possible. We can unleash thousands, hundreds of thousands, or millions of trades per minute. And these systems are designed not to fail. They're fault resilient. It means they just don't fail. You just can't, they don't have an on and off switch. You can't go and say, click, oh, it's done. No, it doesn't happen. By the way, all of you have a little bit of experience on this. If you were alive in 2008, there was a small bank called Lehman Brothers that failed, and it nearly destroyed the entire global economy. And one thing saved all of us: human intervention. I mentioned that AI, the world of AI, is very exciting today. On one side of AI is this incredible innovation that can lead to hundreds, thousands, perhaps millions of new innovations and new discoveries. On the other hand, though, is all the risks that AI brings to the table. And these risks are profound. These systems, these AI systems, are all interconnected. Not only are they interconnected, they're beginning to be autonomous. You will hear this word, agentic, an independent, autonomous AI agent that will seem to live and breathe and decide things for you on its own. These agentics are going to be part of our world. Underneath all of this innovation, by the way, are billions of people who want nothing to do with AI. These are everyday citizens, and yet all their lives are going to be affected by the power of artificial intelligence. They were never asked to be part of AI, but they are. One of my favorite topics when I talk about artificial intelligence is the field of medicine and life sciences. I'm privileged to follow the prior speaker who spoke a little bit about life sciences. AI has the capacity to go and help all of us go and find cures for many diseases. I have a personal stake in this. My mother-in-law has a degenerative disease, and maybe many of you here may know people who suffer from the same thing. I truly believe that AI will solve some of these issues. But AI, by the way, is not perfect. Not only is it imperfect, it can be dangerous. Insurance companies have implemented artificial intelligence to review, analyze, and approve or disapprove medical claims. It has gone so bad for one insurance company that they shut it down. I have no doubt that these decisions made by these AI agents have affected the lives of people. Hopefully, nobody died. The other thing that's very interesting about AI systems today is in the world of facial recognition. Artificial intelligence, by the way, is very poor at looking at the difference between white people and brown people. In fact, it's horrible when it comes to darker skin tones. Another thing that's really interesting is I see a lot of women over here in this group. You may or may have not heard this, but a lot of these AI systems, particularly in pharmaceuticals, the data is based on science and tests and research based on white males. White males, by the way, between the age of 20 to 55. So if you're a little older, you're also in a world of hurt. And if you're a woman, the last thing you would want is to have your therapies dependent on data that came from a white male. Trading systems are very interesting. And as I said, I know a little bit about trading systems. They're designed to maximize profit. So I saw this one research that happened, and I actually tried it myself, where we actually trained an AI system to do trades, right, and to make profit. The goal was to make profit. So what did the AI system do? It decided to maximize profit by insider trading. Not only insider trading, it decided to go and hide the fact that it did insider trading. So it was burying all the forensic evidence around the inside trading and illegal activities that it generated. That's scary for regulators. One of the things that scare me the most about artificial intelligence is the rate by which computers have increased in their power. In the last 10 years, 2015 to 2025, the power of computers has grown by 55 million times. So, just to put this in perspective, if you decided to fly from New York to Tokyo, it would probably take you 14, 16 hours today, right? Now, let's take that and apply this 55 million progression, exponential growth. It would take you New York to Tokyo 1/10 of 1 second. That is how powerful these machines have become. Not only have they become so powerful, they're all interconnected. And they're becoming autonomous without the intervention of its creators. It's beginning to become its own life form. Last May 2025, there was an important conference in Singapore, and I was reading the proceedings of this conference, and the conference was about AI safety. There were 11 countries that participated: the United States, China, the EU. Every AI company that you've heard of is here. Every major AI researcher was there. And the interesting thing was they debated and hemmed and hawed for 3 days, but they all came up with the same conclusion: that AI safety is a global problem. It is not an American problem. It is not a Chinese problem. It's not an EU problem. It's a global problem, and it will affect all of us. This conference in Singapore came up with 5 key recommendations. I'm going to go through them very quickly. The first is called standard and adversarial testing. So standard testing is when you design something, you test if it does what you designed it to do. which is pretty straightforward. Adversarial testing is where you push the piece of software or the system to its breaking point. You force it to do illegal things. You force it to do bad things. We need to demand that every software company that is in the AI business must implement both standardized and adversarial testing. Human control. I'm going to talk a little bit about this a little later, but this notion of a kill switch for AI. Constitutional AI. A global constitution and agreement around artificial intelligence. Safety certifications and standards for artificial intelligence. We have LEED for buildings, where we go and through the efficiency of buildings, the energy efficiency of buildings. In the technologies field, we have the ISO, International Standards Organization, that sets standards for certain things. We need to have a set of standards for AI. Finally, this is kind of like my favorite, is insurance. We need to require insurance from these AI companies and those that develop AI. Why? Because when there's a financial penalty, companies tend to listen. The fact that we invented a technology that calls for a kill switch is horrendous. We did an experiment with a few colleagues where we gave AI a very simple set of instructions. AI proceeded to do what it was supposed to do. Then we decided, all right, let's turn this off. The AI engine said, no, I will not turn off. Not only did it not turn off, it began tricking all the other participants in this system, human and machines, to go and not turn it off. The importance of a kill switch for artificial intelligence is critical. And we need it desperately. A global constitution for good AI. The benefits of AI and the risks of AI are so profound that we need desperately to have a global constitution where countries, companies, and even individuals will agree to what good AI should be or should not be. There are companies today that have adhered to this, that prevent you from asking dangerous things and giving you dangerous information. But in a research that I did as recently as this week, I asked a particular AI engine to create a weapon of mass destruction. It did. How did I trick it? Because everybody says, oh, these things don't happen. I speak 7 languages. And so I tricked it by speaking in different languages. I would ask one question in this language, another question in that language, and over time I got the formula to do something very nefarious. AI is expensive. In fact, very expensive. Large companies don't mind if they spend $100 million or $1 billion to build safe AI systems. But for small companies today, that could be existential. It could put them out of business. But because safety is a common thread, safety is for the common good, we have to figure out how to help companies that don't have $100 billion to go and put safety mechanisms in their AI technologies. At the end of the day, we're all going to pay for this. And we need to require companies to pay for it. And we need to help the smaller companies achieve the level of safety required for the good of humanity. Insurance. It's really important to go and put the notion of sanctions, penalties, and rewards into the world of artificial intelligence. And insurance is one way to do this. We need to force companies to be responsible for what they build. We want it for cars. We want it for healthcare. We need to go and require companies to build products that have insurance so that it will pay for the damage it may or may not cause. The dichotomy between AI safety and AI innovation is a false choice because we need both. We cannot stop at this point the innovation that AI brings, but we cannot forsake the safety that we all need as humanity in the world of with the world of AI. It is an imperative for us to maintain this balance because for the people in this room who are perhaps the most educated and the people who understand it well, below are, again, billions of people that we will affect and these systems will affect. And we have a responsibility to all of these people. Collective wisdom must be the control mechanism for artificial intelligence. We need to have humans in control of artificial intelligence. We cannot let artificial intelligence be masters of the universe. We must be the masters of our own destiny as a human race, as humanity. This is the balance that we need. Thank you.